Hello? Right, hi, how's it going? My name is TokyoR, and I'm going to be talking about visualizing the World Cup with art. So just a little bit about me. Oh wait, sorry. I went the wrong way, I think. I don't know how that happened. Sorry about that. All right, so just a little bit about me. My background is mainly in the social sciences, specifically in psychology and economics. And currently I work for ACDI Boca, which is an international development NGO on a short-term contract ending in October. And so my main interests are soccer or football, so playing, watching, coaching, I can do all three. So the agenda for today is I'm going to be talking about these 4 different types of visualizations. And this talk isn't going to be as serious as the other talks, so you can just sit back and relax because this is where the fun begins. So a quick crash course on those of you who aren't so familiar with the World Cup. The World Cup is divided into 2 stages, the group stage and then the knockout rounds. There are 8 groups of 4 teams each, and each team plays each other once. And the top 2 teams from each group, based on 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 points for a loss, go through. And the last important bit is the last pair of games for each group happen simultaneously to avoid teams colluding with each other to go through to the next round. So, here. As you can see, this is how Group D unfolded throughout the last 90 minutes of gameplay. So on the left, you see how the teams ranked at the start of the match, and then on the right, how the teams finished at the final whistle. So just note here on the flags, the geom flag function uses the actual aspect ratio of the country's flags, so that's why you might see a slight difference in the sizes here. So to add a bit of context to this plot, Argentina, bottom of the group at the start, but still with a fighting chance to finish second, absolutely neither won here. And you know, many Argentine prayers were answered when Messi scored in the 14th minute, and you can see that in the second column there. However, they crashed back down to last place when Victor Moses equalized for Nigeria. But eventually, Argentina made it to the knockout stages from a goal by Marcus Rojo near the end of the game. So these graphs really, captured the drama of the group stages with the hopes and dreams of the teams and the respective nations on the line. So let me explain some of the more interesting bits of the code that I used to create these. So the geom flag function that shows the wonderful flags that you just saw require a 2-digit ISO code as input. And now I can Google the codes every time for every country, but that's kind of annoying. So what's the solution here? The solution here is the country code package. So all you need to do is input the name of the countries, then specify country.name in the origin argument. Then you specify you want the output to be ISO 2C, or the 2-digit ISO codes in the destination argument. And voila, there you go. At the bottom, you see in our newly created flag variable, the ISO 2-digit ISO codes. So the country code function is very versatile and can take lots of different inputs, like the country names in German, the 3-digit ISO codes, the country codes used by the IMF or the Eurostat. So it's a really, really useful package. I really recommend you all try to use them. So next, I want to show you how I display the text in the official World Cup font Fuchsia. So I thought having the text in a regular font would be kind of boring. So having seen a lot of the marketed graphics and merchandise for this World Cup, I found and downloaded the TTF files and installed them on my computer. Then with the extra font package, I was able to use them in R by running the first 3 functions that you see right there. And admittedly, some of the letters do look a bit squished and are hard to see, but overall, I feel it brings a little bit of flavor into the titles and annotations on our plots. So to create these plots, I have to make lots of labels and lots of data frames. But soon I was able to create a template of sorts, a set of label data frames with the same general structure, which I could just pass to different country names, the specific times of the rank changing events, the scores, and the goal scorers' names. And if I have more time, I would want to brainstorm how to turn this into a package of some sort. But for now, this template of sorts is just going to have to do. And so the most difficult part of making these was just, it was tough to keep track of how teams were ranked both before a rank changing event happened and how things changed as a result of those events. And this is especially because I did these after the matches finished, so I had to do a lot of backtracking and figuring out which teams were ranked where at multiple times for 4 different teams. And also keeping in mind all the different tiebreakers between teams with the same amount of points. So let's go back to the actual plots and look at some of the other groups. So here we can see that some groups are full of excitement, like here in Group B. So Iran just needed one more goal after scoring in the 93rd minute to leapfrog Portugal into second place. Unfortunately, that didn't happen for them. And some groups, like Group C, are really boring. And this was mainly because after match day 2, France and Denmark were basically going through to the next round. So they rested their best players, and they didn't really try that hard against each other. But even here, Australia is still qualified if Denmark had lost and they had won their game against Peru. And that's the cool thing about the World Cup. You never really know what's going to happen. So now let's go on to recreating the goals of the World Cup. So for doing these, I primarily used the GG Soccer package by Banford Gaming, which is used in conjunction with ggplot2 to draw a soccer field in R. Basically, the annotate pitch function creates the markings for the soccer field, such as center circle, the 18-yard box, etc., while theme pitch erases the extraneous axes and background stuff for the default ggplot2. Default ggplot, sorry. And then by using the limits arguments and the different coordinate functions, here I used coordinate flip. I can focus on certain areas of the pitch and orient it in the way that I want. So now I'm sure you're all wondering, where did I find the coordinate data points for the players, the ball, etc.? Well, those that are soccer fans know about soccer analytics companies like Opta that generate a huge amount of data for every player for every match. But the thing is, it's not easy for a regular guy like me to buy that data. And if you've been following the World Cup online, you might have seen some great visualizations by the Financial Times, 538, the BBC, who all created their visualizations by buying data from Opta. And then there's other people who've scraped data dashboards from soccer analytics websites, like WhoScored.com with R Selenium or other JavaScript web scrapers. But since I could do neither of those things, I resorted to creating the coordinate positions by hand. Thankfully, due to the plotting system in GG Soccer and ggplot2, it's really easy to figure out the positions on the soccer field plot. And with a little bit of practice, it doesn't take too much time. So here is a small part of what some of the data frames look like with the coordinate points stored for different parts of the plot. Here an example of the ggplot2 code. So after creating the soccer field layout, I then used geom segments and geom curves to plot the movement of the players and the ball. I then used geom text to add some annotations. So first, let me show you the actual footage of the goal that I'm going to recreate. Okay. Just in case, I made sure to open up the link here. So here was my first try. Kaczynski scored the first goal of the World Cup. So after a nervous opening few minutes by the host, a poor corner kick clearance dropped to Golovin on the edge of the box, who played a neat give-and-go pass with Zirkov before finding Kaczynski with a beautiful cross. And here is another, Cristiano Ronaldo scoring a hat-trick in what was probably one of the best games of the tournament so far. So the first goal was a coolly taken penalty kick. The second was more of a mistake, a terrible, terrible mistake by Spain's goalkeeper De Gea. And the last one, near the end of the game, was Spain leading. Cristiano Ronaldo took a great free kick to save Portugal yet again. So now I want to talk about how I got the flags into the title for this plot. I basically put a lot of spaces between the country name and the score in the annotation code. Then I specified the coordinates for the flags to appear in that empty space in the title. And yeah, it's a terrible hack, but it works. Unfortunately, there's no geom that can take both the text and the emoji or image input, so the hacky solution was what I just had to work with. And now for all the Japanese people in the audience, which is most of you, I also recreated Osaka's winner against Colombia. So some people disagree with bringing Keisuke Honda to this World Cup, which was great as a super sub. As you can see here, he took the corner kick that led to the goal. Okay, so now these are really cool, but soccer is a moving, flowing game. It's not just enough to show static images. It just doesn't capture the feel of the sport. So the next step was to try and animate these images using GG Animate and TokyoR. So full disclosure, this was all done using the old GG Animate and TokyoR API. So here is the GG Animate version of Kaczynski's goal. So you can see that the animation here is a bit choppy though, right? So to create this, basically you have to add some kind of time variable in your data that keeps track of the when of your data points. Then you have to specify that time variable in the frame argument of the geom you want animated. So in this case, it's geom emoji, the soccer ball emoji that you just saw. And then, as I mentioned, the animation was really choppy, and it didn't really look like soccer at all, right? So we can do better than this by making everything run smoother between the time variables. And this is where TokyoR comes in. So for those of you who aren't familiar, TokyoR allows you to interpolate data between different states and specify stuff like the easing function of the transitions. So let's view Kaczynski's goal with TokyoR now. So, big improvement, right? So now let's check out Osaka's goal against Colombia. So, as we say in Japan, Osaka hanpanai. And here's another one. This one's more for the soccer fans in the audience who understand this. Japan's offside trap scandal. So, against the height advantage and physicality of Senegal, Japan's strategy was basically, you can't lose the aerial battle if you set an offside trap. And yeah, you can use R to create internet memes too. Right, so moving on. The last thing I want to show you was animating national team uniforms. So, about a month ago, Guy Abel created this really cool blog post on animating soccer uniforms with art. And what he did was that he web scraped uniform images from a website, then used the magic package to animate the transitions. And the thing that got to me was, for the uniform pictures, Guy used this website called historicalkids.co.uk, which is a website I've been using since I was a little kid. So I was like, hey, why didn't I think of doing this? So, with the help of Guy's awesome code that he shared, I went to work. And obviously, I didn't want to copy exactly what he did, but with Japan's uniforms instead, I went ahead and combined Japan's uniforms with those of their opponents in each of the games in each of the World Cups. So to create this kind of a historical slideshow showing all of Japan's World Cup games. So you'll notice that in some World Cups, Japan only used one set of uniforms, and others they used many different combinations, not just the tops, but different shorts and socks as well. So just some final remarks. It's only been a bit over a year and a half since I started learning art. So working on these pods was a great way to test my art skills, not just in visualization, but in art programming. And doing this mini project really confirmed my belief that if you want to get better in art, it's really easy to do so by working on topics and subjects that you truly love. So, okay, so you can find the code that I used to make all these on the GitHub link I provided up there. You can also visit my website for blog posts. I'm hoping to translate my work of this blog post to Japanese soon. So you can keep an eye out by following me on Twitter. And well, yeah, all right, so that's all for me. So thank you all for listening. And I hope that maybe I got some of you interested in soccer. Thanks.
Thank you very much for very interesting presentation. Yeah, I noticed that we can do everything with R if you have enthusiasm.
You just have to try it.
Yeah, and I think today is World Cup final.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Next, I would like to